Hey guys, I'm going to try this video one more time. I've done it once and got about halfway through and the tripod fell over. Tried it again and people were trying to video call me and stop the video. So what I'm going to do today is show you how I turn regular foam board from the Dollar Tree into wood planks that I've used for a couple of different projects and a couple of different doll houses that I'm currently working on. So let's do that now. Let me turn this camera down. Okay, so I just dropped the phone again. So we're going to edit that part out as if that didn't happen. Okay. So I'm not that interesting. We're not going to look at me. What we're going to do is take our foam board and we're going to measure out just a piece of foam. Whatever size foam you want to use. Cut that off. And then we're going to take the paper off. Now this is just Dollar Tree foam board. This came from my Dollar Tree up the road. Got it for $1. And then I'll use a combination of probably these two tools. These are my favorite tools to work with foam board. This metal tool that came from a pack at Harbor Freight. And this is like a bamboo skewer. Or a toothpick would work just as well. And then I'm just going to make some planks in this piece of foam. I'm not going to measure them. I'm just going to eyeball. These are not going to be even at all because I didn't measure them. So what I'm going to do is just cut this. We'll just move away with that. So we'll have three planks that we're going to work with. And then we're going to take this little tool and we're going to press in and just score down the lines that I just made with the pencil just to give it some definition. And then we're going to take this and just make some lines. This is just going to be wood grain lines, so you can, if you have a specific piece of wood that you're trying to replicate, do that. Otherwise, you just do like I'm doing and just make some random, because we're just going to paint it and the paint's just going to fall into these grooves. So I'm just going to randomly make some lines on here to be wood grain. It's fine. Probably not perfect, but that's okay. I'm not either. Now, to do the knots in the wood, what I'll do is I'll take this tool again, and I'm just going to make a half circle right where the two planks kind of meet. If you can see that. Okay. And then I'll come over here and I'll probably do another one like right there. And let's do one on the side of the wood over here. Turn around, lift that up a little bit. That piece of wood's kind of a rough piece of wood. Let's go ahead and rough up the edges of the wood. And turn it around and we can You don't want to make your knot holes go all the way through the wood or the foam. The one on the side does, because that's just going to be like a gouged piece in the wood. But your knot holes, you do not want to go all the way through the foam, unless you just want a hole in the wood. Okay. So I think that's sufficiently roughed up enough. So, I have to vacuum. This is one of my favorite tools to use. It is just a simple $1 nail file. It's really good for filing the edges of my foam. It's really good for mat board. It's good to file coffee stir sticks. It's just the right. I like it better than sandpaper. And I'm just going to give it just a little. Okay. Now, you can tell I just use expensive stuff, y'all. You're going to go broke using my stuff because I just use this expensive, like my palettes of styrofoam plate. Okay. So I've got black paint. This is just Art Deco. Deco Art Americana in Lamp Ebony Black. Any black paint's going to work. You just want some black paint. You can be like me and just wear the black paint. I'll take black paint on my brush, put it off into my plate, just again, not a full loaded brush. I'm going to go inside these knot holes that I just made. Alexa, volume down. I didn't think about having her playing in the background. YouTube or whoever may not like that I had music playing in the background. Okay. And all I'm doing is putting black paint where I've made the knots, because black is going to give depth where you've made those gouges. Dark paint, if you're going to do depth to anything, you always want your dark to be first, and then you'll layer your lighter colors on top of your darker color. But we're not going to paint the whole thing black and then go on top of that. No. This is going to be too much dark. So I'm just going to hit the edges of the plank with some black paint. Don't do that. Okay, so that has black. The edges are tipped in some black watered down. Okay, so then I'm going to, I missed the spot here. Too much watered down and not enough paint. Okay, so I've got water in the plate and I've got some black paint. I'm just going to add a little more paint to that water, just so that I have some really thin black paint. Let me get a bigger brush. And I'm just going to go over this with a black wash. You can see it's going to bead up on here because this is foam, and water is going to kind of bead on your foam a little bit. But that's okay, because you don't want it to, you're not trying to paint it really. at this stage, you only want the color that's mixed with the water to go down in those wood grains that you made. So that's all you want. See, like that. And then what I'll do is take my paper towel, and I'm going to wipe some of that back off. So now I have this. So I've got that at this point. Now we're going to have the fun part. I'm going to use a couple of different colors of brown. What did I bring in here? And this is where you can do whatever color you're looking for. It doesn't matter, because I use all different colors, and from one project to the next, I never know what color brown that I use, because I have so many colors of brown. So what I'll do is I'll shake them up, and I'll set the lid in front of me. That one is nutmeg brown. These are all apple barrel, I do believe. This one is coffee bean. This one is chestnut. Chestnut's the lightest, I think, of all the colors. And this one is burnt umber. I don't know that I'm going to use all of these colors, but they're here. And then I've got white for later. Okay. Clean my brush off. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll probably start with nutmeg. And see how that works for me. And this is just straight paint. I just dipped it into the lid. And this is where I just do trial and error to see how it looks. And this is why I end up wearing so much paint on my hands to work, and this is why my nails and stuff always look so bad. But I don't care. I'm not that high maintenance, it don't matter. Okay, so this is one coat of nutmeg on top of our black, and that's going to dry just a little minute, because we want to let it have time to dry between the coats, because we don't want it to get muddy. I really like it just with the nutmeg. Let's do a little bit of this chestnut, even though that's the lighter color, and I said we're going to do lighter colors last. Let's do a little bit of this chestnut just in random spots. Because we don't have to put the paint everywhere. When you're painting, you don't have to put like a full coat of a color on here. And let's do some nutmeg, just a touch of nutmeg in these crevices in between the planks, just a little bit, just to say, hey, we got some planks here. We're going to darken the planks and at the edges, because I think they would be darker on the edges. And then the burnt umber, just outline the knot a little bit. Outline the knots a little bit. And so far, this is what we have. just a little bit of paint on some foam. And the back is still just plain. We can paint that as we go. And of course the sides, you're going to want to paint the sides to match, but I would always do the sides in the darkest color, because if you're looking at anything, the sides are going to be darker. So that's what we have so far. And then when you're finished and it's all dry, you can always hit that with some varnish or some Mod Podge, even like some really glossy Mod Podge would even be nice. I have taken like my barn doors. Once I put the coffee stir sticks on this, I put a layer of pecan varnish for wood over the whole thing, the foam and the coffee stir sticks. Everything got a layer of the same varnish, so it was nice and shiny, the whole thing. Just have fun. It's just color, it's just paint, it's just foam. And if you don't like it, cut another piece of foam. Start over. It's just foam. Let's just... There. I hope you can see this. This is what we ended up with. I hope you guys enjoyed this little video on how to make wood from foam. I'll do another video maybe this evening on how to make the barrel chairs. That I made for my dollhouse set. These I made from matte wood, some coffee stir sticks, and a cereal box. So maybe I'll get this video done later on this evening. But thanks for watching the video, and I hope you guys have fun making some wood projects out of foam. So now that this is mostly dry, I can show you what we were going to use the white for. Just a little bit of dry brush. So I have a little dry, or a little paint on this brush. I rubbed most of it off onto my paper towel. And then I'm going to take this mostly dry brush, pat more of it off on this plate. And I'm just going to lightly highlight some of the edges. With some of this lighter color. This dry brush is just going to highlight some of this. And bring out some of the effect that we want. And there is our wood.